I have Vikrant Gupta, who joins me on the show. Also with me is Nikhil Naz, and these two gentlemen, they know all that is to be known, the thinking within the BCCI, thinking in India camp, and of course thinking across. And Vikrant, I want to come to you first. I want to understand from you, what are your sources in BCCI and ICC telling you?
Two options for Pakistan Cricket Board, and not that this has come as a surprise. It's just that they've delayed it this far. And I expected the decision to have been taken about 3 months back. What they're doing now should have done 3 months back. Now Pakistan has to come back tomorrow with a foolproof plan wherein they accept the hybrid model. Within the hybrid model, they would then say, what about the India-Pakistan game? Can India travel to Pakistan? India will say no. Then they will say, okay, so you are saying one semi-final is to be played in Dubai because of India and one final to be played in Dubai because of India. What if India loses before the semi-final and the final? Can we then have Lahore as a backup, which could be a 50-50 in terms of acceptance? But if Pakistan Cricket Board tomorrow says that our government isn't allowing, Pakistan need to realize this is an ICC tournament. This is like McDonald's. McDonald's is the ICC and you're just a franchisee. You can't decide the recipe or the menu or the pricing. So the ICC has just sublet the tournament to you for you to organize it. So the moment you say our government is not allowing, there is no provision within the constitution of the ICC wherein the host goes to the government and says, look, we are being told to shift some matches to Dubai, and the government says don't do it. The moment they do it, Gaurav, I can tell you with certainty that by this time tomorrow, if we meet and Pakistan do not agree to the hybrid model, they will take it to the ICC board, and if there is voting, Pakistan will lose. They stand a huge risk of losing out on hosting the Champions Trophy altogether.
Just Champions Trophy, or Pakistan may be out of ICC?
No, they can't be out of the ICC.
In case they behave in such a manner?
No, see, I'll tell you what. ICC can't throw them out. So, if they are adamant, like I said, no, the Champions Trophy has to be played in Pakistan, we won't have hybrid, and it goes to the voting, and they will lose the vote. They then, because of the izzat, they've said, na, sir kata lenge, jhukayenge nahi. So because of the izzat, then they'll be left with no other option than to say, okay, we are not playing the Champions Trophy, we are going to boycott it. Because they know that there's this India-Pakistan game, which is the biggest bamboo for this money tambu that the ICC has. So they know the relevance of Pakistan. They are relevant.
They are relevant. But are they the top revenue, or are they now the second revenue after Australia?
They're the fourth.
They're the fourth.
Yeah, they're the fourth.
So in like that big tambu,
they
Pakistan
are just relevant. They're just relevant, and the relevance stems from the fact that every year, if there is an ICC tournament, there's one showpiece game where the broadcaster pays the maximum, right? And now, this is also like that old story, Sher aa gaya, what if the Sher comes? So tomorrow, they threaten you, nahi khelenge. And tomorrow, there is a possibility of Pakistan saying, okay, we are pulling out of the Champions Trophy, and the Champions Trophy has to happen. Even though if there is going to be a pay cut in terms of the broadcaster, the Champions Trophy happens. And rather than the India-Pakistan game, which actually lacks the glamour that there used to be in the 80s and the 90s.
Precisely.
What if the India-Australia game becomes the showpiece, the India-New Zealand game becomes the showpiece, then Sher aa gaya, the day Sher comes, the real
and
Sher
Pakistan
comes.
knows that. Pakistan knows that.
No, probably they are not aware of that right now.
Okay. Let me bring in Kamar Cheema, who joins us from Pakistan. Nikhil Naz stays with us on this special broadcast. Kamar Cheema, welcome. So I believe Pakistan now knows the ground reality, Kamar Cheema. Either hybrid or the series moves out of Pakistan. The PCB chief is also the interior minister of Pakistan. So he has to remove one cap and wear the other cap. What will he do, or will the decision be taken in GHQ Rawalpindi? The army will decide.
No, I think this is Pakistan's decision, and the decision is that India will have to come Pakistan. In case they don't want to come, so this is their call. But Pakistan will not back out of this situation, and Pakistan will put the case. For example, if Dr. Jaishankar can come for SCO, why Indian team cannot come for cricket, playing cricket in Pakistan? So at first place, if India had a trouble or there was some security problem, why that problem was not to Dr. Jaishankar and why that problem is to the PCP? The question here is very clear. The question is that the Indian government at the moment, where Jay Shah Saab and Amit Shah Saab and Prime Minister Modi, they have politics to play. If they come Pakistan, obviously that will connect the people of India and
वो तो
Pakistan.
आप अपना
They want
पाकिस्तान
that
टीवी
they
पे
should not
डिस्कस
be
करते हो
connected.
नहीं कमर चीमा जी my simple point is you have been told and Nikhil Naz you can explain it to Kamar Chima in Pakistanis better who are watching this broadcast. The Right Act has been read to Pakistan, either accept hybrid model or Champions Trophy moves out of Pakistan. अब India has to come वाला तो सवाल ही नहीं रहा. Am I right, Nikhil?
Well, that's right, Gaurav. I think it's a classic case of stalemate right now. While PCB did not back out in the meeting that happened today, which I believe wasn't more than 15 minutes. That's about how much time it took to take a decision that both boards were reluctant. Having said that, I think there will be a bit of a softening of stance. Also, Pakistan Cricket Board can't be seen taking a decision as big as going by a hybrid model immediately. So I think they go back, the time that we were talking about, they go back, have their internal discussion, and then eventually come out with that hybrid model. I think the only leg they will have to stand on, and which is what is the kind of noise that you will hear coming out of Pakistan, is that they will accept the hybrid model with a condition that, okay, there were going to be 4 big tournaments in India, and on those occasions, Pakistan will refuse to travel to India. From India's point of view, I think they're going to treat it as we'll cross the bridge once we get to it.
Okay.
But I think that's the only sort of messaging that they can give out after taking such a strong stance, saying that, listen, no hybrid at all. And eventually, when you agree to hybrid, I think you will have to come up with something. I think the only way that they'll have some sort of face saving is by saying that, okay, in future tournaments, we're not going to travel. Because the one thing that I believe that they did put forward was when India said that, listen, because the ICC board, which is obviously going to side with India, not that they have any love loss, but because the commerce of ICC is such, is that what the PCB said at that moment was that, listen, there have been occasions where teams have decided to boycott a tournament or not play in a certain country. On those occasions, it was the team that chose not to travel; they were penalized. So why can't something like that happen right now? To which point they were told that at the moment the commerce of an ICC tournament is such that this is something that the ICC cannot consider.
It's the money, honey. It's the money.
It's very simple. You remember, and Nikhil was traveling for the Olympics. He was in Paris.
Yes.
So when the Vinesh controversy happened, and because of the overweight, I remember in the Indian Parliament, a few politicians said, "What is the Olympics? हमारी देश की बेटी के साथ हुआ है. Let's boycott the Olympics." Why would the Olympics need India? It's akin to this issue coming out of Pakistan. हम झुकेंगे नहीं. It is not about झुकेंगे, Gaurav. Other than the 3 top countries, India, Australia, and England, all of them depend on the ICC revenue.
Yes.
Right? So they get about $35 million every year, which is peanuts for us. They get $35 million every year as ICC grant.
Yes.
They get $70 million as the hosting fee for this tournament. And for the hybrid, they get about 15-20 million additional, which will be split between them and Dubai.
Okay.
They have renovated, they are in the process,
of renovating
their grounds. And apparently, they've taken a loan to renovate the grounds.
Okay.
Now, the moment you say, nahi chahiye paisa, okay, the paisa will go away. So what will you do? That will be a problem. And I think the cricket fraternity within Pakistan understands this situation.
Yes. They do, but does Mohsin Naqvi, the PCB chief, who's also the interior minister, understand these dynamics?
He can always go back to his people tomorrow night and say, "Dekho, I fought for the nation."
लेकिन cricket की खातिर हम झुक गए.
No. It is the ICC vote, and the ICC defeated me. मैं क्या करता? And then
Kamar Chima, would you like to respond to this? Ultimately, वो $35 million अगर पाकिस्तान को चाहिए.
And 70 plus 15.
70 plus, absolutely. तो आईसीसी का आदेश मानना पड़ेगा कमर चीमा और यू किसे नहीं हमको तो हमारी इज्जत, हम पाकिस्तानी, हमको इज्जत प्यारी और हमको नहीं चाहिए पैसा, हम
घास खा के जी लेंगे,
घास खा लेंगे, एटम बम बना लेंगे, क्रिकेट नहीं खेलेंगे.
देखो पहले एटम बम बनाया था और चलाया भी था, one thing. The second point is that if this is the point, So no problem, no problem. Nations have to go through the hard times where 800 million Indians are going through hard times. The question is not that.
But we are feeding
We
them, sir.
will
We are
not
feeding.
let this
Our
happen
country
this time.
feeds. हम लोग कहीं
We
कटोरा
will
लेके नहीं
not
जाते.
let this.
23 बार आप IMF जा
बात
चुके
तो
हैं, but
सुनो
that's
ना,
a separate
800
story.
मिलियन लेक तो कटोरा लेके घूम रहे हैं ना इंडिया के अंदर. The question is that we will not let this happen. You know, India will have to change the attitude. India has an attitude problem which will be changed this time.
और अगर
So
नहीं कर पाए तो क्या
we
करोगे?
let it go last time. But
Can
this
I-
time it won't let it go. You have a problem. We know you have an attitude problem.
Kamal
As a
bhai, can I
nation which
request
is
you one
building
thing?
over
हम
some
लोग
time,
पावरफुल देश है,
we
सर.
will manage it. Don't
हम
worry
लोग
at all.
पावरफुल
We
देश है.
will
We are
manage
India.
it and you
We are
will
not
see this.
Pakistan.
And Kamar bhai,
if-
Kamar bhai, he's a very well-known. His voice is so well known in Pakistan. Kamar bhai, can I make a request to you?
Yes.
I want you to stay firm. I want all of you to stay firm and say,
Yes.
गर्दन कट जाएगी पर
Yes.
झुकेंगे नहीं.
Yes, India.
Yes.
If there will not be a hybrid model,
You should
if
say-
India wants to
you
come,
should
that's
say-
fine. Otherwise,
you
India
should say
stay
नहीं
where
चाहिए
it is.
Champions Trophy.
That's a question.
हाँ, you
Change
should
कर
say
देंगे
नहीं
आपका
चाहिए
attitude,
पैसा.
फिक्र ना करें.
सर
ये
कह
अमित
पाओगे?
शाह साहब को
नहीं,
जो
क्योंकि
वोटों
सर
की
if I
परवाह
go
है,
by
वो बात
history,
कर देंगे.
सर if I go by history, कमर चीमा साहब, आपके एक लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल AA के नियाजी भी थे. उन्होंने भी यही कहा था, हम पाकिस्तानी हम झुकेंगे नहीं, और फिर 93,000 पाकिस्तानियों ने अगले दिन सरेंडर कर दिया था. वो पतलूने उतार के, बेल्ट उतार के सलाम कर रहे थे इंडिया को. So will it be
Do not
another
bring-
16th December for Pakistan tomorrow that you will accept a hybrid model?
I think don't bring such kind of things. That's history. That's 75 years ago or 50 years ago. That's
sir.
something story of the past. The story of the today is that we will not let India to do this, that there will not be a hybrid model. India has had to come Pakistan.
नहीं
They
आएंगे
will
सर.
have to
ये
play
तो आप
the
मुझसे
cricket.
आज
Otherwise,
लिखवा
you
के
will
ले
lose
लो.
the chance last.
विक्रांत कैन टेल यू बेटर, निखिल कैन टेल यू बेटर. ये तो आप जाएगी टीम इंडिया पाकिस्तान.
My point is, Kamar bhai, don't do this. Matlab, why you wanting to? Matlab, again, I'm with due regard. Again, cricket may not be your domain. Like defense is not my domain. But the fact is, कि your cricket in Pakistan needs the ICC, needs the money. Cricket बिना पैसे के नहीं चलता है, sir.
It's
And
not
I
about
think-
money, my friend.
No, no.
Money may be important thing, but at the moment it is not important. At the moment it is important to change the attitude of the India.
So are you
At the
signing a
moment,
petition?
It is important to change
Are
the
you signing a
mindset of the
petition?
Indian BCCI.
सर
Sorry?
अगर कल मोहसिन नकवी झुक गए, जो पाकिस्तान का इतिहास रहा है, अगर मोहसिन नकवी झुक गए और बोला कोई बात नहीं जी, क्रिकेट की खातिर, इट्स फॉर द स्पोर्ट, हम इंडिया नहीं जाएंगे आज के बाद, लेकिन ये इस बार हाइब्रिड मान लो, वरना आपने लोन वोन लिया है, मैंने
He'll be
सुना है.
intelligent enough to do that.
निखिल आई बिलीव पाकिस्तान ने काफी लोन वोन लिया है वो स्टेडियम वेडियम रिपेयर कराने के लिए. वो सारा पैसा भी चूल्हे में जाएगा, लोन तो चुकाना
Every
पड़ेगा.
country gets a loan. Everyone gets a loan. Loan is not an issue.
नहीं,
Gaurav, see,
चुकाना इज द
the
इशू सर.
other-
आप तो चुका नहीं पाते.
the
लोन तो
the
मिल जाता है.
other
अब तो चाइना ने
in-
भी लोन देना बंद कर दिया आपको. बट निखिल प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड सर.
Yeah, and I just want to say the other important, as I mentioned, that the Pakistan cricket is in doldrums anyway. They would need that kind of money. They've spent that money on the stadiums as well. But the one very important bit that we're missing is it's not just Pakistan that would need that money. It's the rest of the board as well. England and Australia. If you take that majority chunk out, that 80% contribution that India makes to the ICC, ECB, English Cricket Board, will be in the doldrums. Cricket Australia will be in the doldrums. So when they sit on that boardroom and make that decision, they're going to be mindful of that. Pakistan actually in that regard gets more than 5%. That's more than any other board. In terms of the kind of money that they derive from ICC, which predominantly comes from India. So that's an
Yes.
important factor for England, Australia, South Africa, all the other countries as well. So they're going to be mindful of that. The other thing is, if Pakistan does decide to, I remember that statement. It said that, listen, we'll take the insult, but we will not take the injury. That's the statement that has come out of Mohsin Naqvi at the moment. But the thing is that you would then be left with no option where a tournament might take place in Sri Lanka. So ICC will announce that the tournament is in Sri Lanka. Now it's up to you. Do you want the hosting right or not? If you don't want the hosting right, the
in
tournament
case
goes
it is
ahead
held in Sri
without
Lanka,
you getting any
does
money.
Pakistan get any revenue or Pakistan then gets no revenue?
No. They
Salt
do if they
on the
agree
injury.
to be the
Oh,
host.
that is rubbing
But if
salt
they
on the
say,
injury.
if
They
we
don't
don't want to be
injury,
host, they
they'll
get
get
nothing.
salt as well. See, basically depends. Pakistan
मतलब
are the
basically
hosts.
Pakistan
No,
दब
no,
गया है.
Pakistan are the hosts. So let's say hypothetically, if Pakistan do it in a hybrid manner, they're still the hosts.
Correct.
If Pakistan say that, okay, let's take it to a third country, they still remain the hosts. What if The only thing is that if tomorrow they say no hybrid, we are not going to accept, we are going to pull out, then the ICC can give it to anybody. In fact,
इंडिया में भी हो सकता है.
India में ही होगा.
वाह.
But for that, Pakistan has to pull out, which is not going to happen. I mean, see, there is sanity.
ये posturing चल रही है आखिरी मिनट तक.
हाँ, वो Mr. Naqvi had said that yesterday. So today the stance would be different, and I can tell you that both Mr. Naqvi and Jay Shah, they had a telephonic conversation before the ICC meeting. I was a little surprised that the meeting went on for just 15 minutes. I can't even have my cup of tea in those 15 minutes, and they are reconvening tomorrow. One critical aspect that the Pakistan Cricket Board would have realized by now is that Mr. Naqvi was in England and he met the ECB chairman, and they've been tom-tomming to the world. Dekho, England bhi aaya, Australia bhi aaya. Now the England and Wales Cricket Board yesterday has decided that to protect the sanctity of their county championship, other than the IPL, they will not allow
They
their
will not
players,
go to Pakistan. Yes.
No, they will not allow their players to play in any league.
Yes.
So the PCL, the PSL, the
Yes.
Pakistan Super League, which normally happens in February, March, would now clash, after the Champions Trophy, will now clash with the IPL.
Yes.
Which means that the English players, the whatever the low domain English, the low-lying fruit, even they will not be available.
तो कमर चीमा साहब, ग्राउंड रियलिटी ये है कि जितना भी आप बोल दो हमारी ये इज्जत, हमारी वो इज्जत, इज्जत पैसे की होती है जो पाकिस्तान के पास है नहीं.
The problem is that right now, I know, and India has an ego issue. And I think that's what Pakistan has decided, to set the ego issue of India. You know, we do believe that if Jay Shankar can come, why Indian cricket team can't come? We do believe that, this is the Prime Minister Modi who has to realize every time that how can I more disconnect people of India and Pakistan? 15
सर,
years of
क्योंकि
Prime
उन्होंने
Minister
कहा है
Modi
ना,
will be
प्राइम मिनिस्टर
remembered
मोदी ने कहा
as
है
the Prime Minister who
कि
disconnected both
आतंकवाद
countries.
और बातचीत एक साथ नहीं हो सकती. ये
the
बात
fif-
पाकिस्तान को
in-
समझ
in-
नहीं
in-
आती.
The 15 years of Prime Minister Modi will always be remembered as
As
most
the time
disconnected
when
era
there was
between
no
India and
terror attack
Pakistan.
outside Jammu and
But-
Kashmir
the
after
most
2019.
Honestly, it was the UPA
the
government
most
in 2008
disconnected era
Yes,
of India and
which
Pakistan,
decided to ban
and that is
playing
his
in
contribution
Pakistan
for the
or any
region.
bilateral.
And then no Pakistanis in IPL subsequently.
Yeah, so this was in 2008. It was the UPA government. In fact, I'm not here to show my inclination towards any political party, but I've been hearing this for many days in Pakistan, and they also need to remember that it was the NDA government in 2004
that
which
sent a team to Pakistan.
Yeah.
और
So,
उसके बाद terror attack फिर हो
the
गया.
only thing is कि if this cross-border terrorism is to stop, and it does stop, and of course, at a diplomatic level, see, that's the problem. The BCCI or the Pakistan Cricket Board or the Virat Kohlis or the Babar Azams or me and you, we can't decide whether or not to go to Pakistan. It is the Indian government versus the Pakistani government. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
हम लोग स्टूडियो में बैठ के we can say anything and get away. Ultimately, it is the government. And the fact is, while Pakistan have been hosting international teams, fair enough, and they've been giving them security. The problem is, Gaurav, the threat perception for the Indian team in Pakistan will be different. Like when the Pakistanis came to India, the threat perception was different.
Absolutely.
And I think what happened last week in Islamabad,
Yeah.
Direct
firing.
does scare us.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, what happens in Islamabad where police and security forces open fire at Pakistanis from Swat and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. But that's a separate story. Kamar Chima, will Pakistan see reason or will Pakistan move forward just with that same mentality and ideology कि atom bomb बनाएंगे, घास की रोटी खाएंगे, even in cricket?
Well, the problem is that no country on earth is saying that we will not come in Pakistan. So the Australians, Britain, New Zealand, West Indies, South Africa, every country wants to come Pakistan other than India. So it means this is an ego issue. So we will settle it
नहीं
down.
sir, it's a
Don't
simple
worry.
issue जो
Give us a
पाकिस्तानियों
time.
को
It's not
समझ
about
नहीं
money.
आता. And
It's
so
about-
because
it's not about
you
money.
say you are, Vikrant tells me you are popular in Pakistan. Through you, I hope your people understand. India is very clear. Terror and talks cannot happen together. Terror
This
and
is-
cricket
this is
cannot
what we
happen
have been
together.
saying.
As
Despite
Vikrant
the
very
fact
rightly
India is
pointed out,
sponsoring terrorism via
Vajpayee, despite
Afghanistan,
terror, sent a
we
cricket
still
team to
want to give
Pakistan
peace a
and it
chance.
was followed by more terror.
Despite
26-11
the
के
fact-
समय भी cricket हो चुका था and Nikhil, finally government of India post 2019, post Pulwama, has made it very clear with Pakistan, bilateral cricket
It does.
only when Pakistan stops terror. And Nikhil, am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, you are. Got just a couple of points. One on, Mr. Chima talking about England want to come, Australia want to come. Just a quick reminder to him that there was a Sri Lanka A team in Pakistan. They have been withdrawn very recently, just 2 days ago.
back.
Yes.
So they've come back. That's one. Secondly, Australia and England wanted to come when there was no stalemate with India. If the stalemate continues, if the Champions Trophy does get pulled out of Pakistan, then I don't think the Australias and the English boards that you're talking about would want to come. I've explained the commerce behind it. The other
Yes.
thing that you talk about the Indian stand, let me just reiterate what Mr. Jaishankar said just yesterday. He was at a book launch of a former India cricketer, Mohinder Ramannath. He used a cricket analogy where Mohinder Ramannath was talking about his tour to Pakistan. He said, listen, I used to have the traditional side-on action, but to counter the Pakistani bowlers, I did a more front-on, face-to-face action. And Mr. Jaishankar said, I could not explain the current stance that we have for Pakistan better than taking your example, because earlier we had the more conventional side-on thing. Now
Yes.
we got a front-on thing. So we're dealing with them face-to-face, direct on the face. So I think, you don't
Face
even
to
need to read
face,
between the
direct
lines. I
on
think
the
you've got it
face.
directly.
To all my guests, many thanks for joining me. I've run out of time, but we'll be tracking the story very, very closely. And 24 hours later, either Pakistan will accept hybrid or Pakistan will be out of Champions Trophy, or Champions Trophy will be out of Pakistan.